Spoilers. Some of my favorite things were, just taking a little drink first, a little mega pint of Evian water. I think that my favorite parts were, number one, I really loved remembering and sort of reading and writing about Amos and I and Drooglin on the playground, having fun together, us hanging out outside of school. There are a lot of moments that I didn't even write about. There were a lot, because this isn't my autobiography, it's a memoir that's based around filmmaking. And so I really did not write everything at all. This is basically 30% of my story. It's 30% at most. So it really isn't the full picture in terms of me. And I think maybe if it was the full picture, you would have gotten to the core of my character, maybe. I don't know. But really remembering that, I think that those are some of my favorite friends because we just had such fun together, and it really seemed like we were friends. And I think that it really was like the lowest point of the book almost when I lost both of them. Because I went into middle school thinking, I don't need any other friends. I just have these guys. Like, these guys are the perfect friends. I love everything about them for the most part. I'd love to make movies with them. I'd love to hang out with them. I'd love to, grow up with them in school and have fun with them and hang out and share experiences. And then it's like, wow, they both just abandoned me. And like, that was a really sad thing in the book. And that was really the impetus for I've Been Bitten. That was sort of the starting point for that movie, was feeling like, you're entering like a whole new world of just this terrible, evil place where you don't have any friends or anything. And so I loved that. I loved writing about, when we were friends, because it really made me remember like just how good friends we were. Like, I think that they are probably my bestest friends. They're at the top. If I had to rank my friends from best to worst, they would be at the top. Well, now they're at the bottom. They're at the bottom now. But they were at the top when they were my friends. And so it's really sad that that happened. And then number two, I loved writing about the part where I traveled to my brother's fraternity and I spent like a week there. That was such a fun memory. That was such a fun experience. It was so much fun to like go to this place and sort of feel like I was a grown up with all of them, in this fraternity. And that sort of experience of just being treated like a person and not really like a loser, like just that fat person over there. Like I was treated like in school. It was really nice to just have fun at the end of the summer and go to this different place that I'd never been to and just be treated like a person, and just have fun with all these cool people. And so that was fun to write about. I didn't even write everything with that because it just felt kind of repetitive, we party, we hang out, we watch stuff, we go get food, we walk around. It was just so fun, though. It was so fun. So that's my second favorite moment. And then my third favorite moment is, of course, this is where I want to get serious, because Lunch Girl, she really is the main love interest of the book. I gotta be honest. Like, she really is the number one love interest. There's just something so dreamy and mysterious and femme fatale-like about her character. And, I never realized until now that I had gone to another camp with her. I had always remembered it as that was the only camp I ever saw her at. But no, she was in my camp a year before. And I went to this video making camp, and I was with this girl who I call Lunch Girl, if you guys don't know. And sort of that story, it's really that is definitely like one of my all-time favorite memories. And I think that was also a great story because it was very romantic and very personal and sort of like innocent, the way that, throughout the book, it's like I'm talking about like, oh yeah, and then I went online and I chatted with this one girl about how she's a vampire, and, and how she's cutting herself and how she's a demon monster. And then I go to this camp and I'm talking about like, I just really like this girl, and she's just a really nice and interesting person who I'd like to hang out with and be with. And just like it really was like every single day, the whole day, I thought about filmmaking. But honestly, if I'm being truly 100% honest, the only thing that I thought about the whole day, every day at that camp, was talking to her and trying to talk to her and getting a chance to talk to her. And then sort of that last thing where I had my last opportunity, and I basically had to choose between talking to her and staying back in the camp to edit this gym segment. And I chose to stay back and edit a video instead of talking to her. And I think that it was like a huge mistake. And I think that it was like almost like this is the one time maybe that I shouldn't have cared about filmmaking, and the one time that I should have just done that. And I think that, that whole story of just, wanting to talk to her, it was very, very hard not to do that. It was so, and that's another thing too that is a big theme in the book is being quiet. And I think really the negative things of being quiet, because throughout the book you can really see a lot of moments where the character, myself, he doesn't get what he wants because he's quiet, and because he's not being loud and sort of demanding, and just saying what he wants and just going for it and getting it, and then later on in the book he starts a YouTube channel and he's just this loud, mean person, and it's sort of like making up for all those years of being quiet. And so it was just really sad to see, I will reveal this too. We had this moment, Lunch Girl and I, where we were doing this video segment where we were interviewing the head counselor. And I couldn't find it because the disc, it was scratched, and it was, I could not get it. I could not get to it. It was buffering. I couldn't get to it. It was so sad. I was like, I want to see that moment. I really want to see it. And then what happened was I spent months trying to get that disc to work. I cleaned it off with eyeglass cleaner. I put toothpaste on it. I put Vaseline on it. I did everything humanly possible, and nothing worked, and I just gave up on it. And right when I finished this book, I discovered the CD recovery program, and then I recovered that segment, and it only took 24 hours to do it. And I watched there, and for most of the segment, I'm just sitting there not saying anything, and I'm just staring, and you can see her, and she's talking, and it's like, it's just this really, like, happy but sad type of thing, because you look back, and it's just like, you can really see the, sorry, I got a delivery, but you can really see the tragedy of that character. I mean, I would probably say the biggest flaws of the character are being quiet and not direct, and also giving up on things. So that whole, seeing that segment for the first time again, it was very impactful, and I included that detailed segment in the Amazon one, and I think that was the best part. Sorry, you can hear motorcycles in the background too. I don't want to talk and then I just sorry about that. I don't want that background noise to be So that moment, that was very, very impactful, and I wanted to go back. I thought of going back and just like rewriting like the end chapter to include that. But there's a lot of stuff that happened last year after that I think will just be in the sequel book. But yeah, that was very impactful, and that probably is the best memory, is that whole story. You know, seeing her sitting in the park, it was very it's just like a dreamy scene. Like it's so vivid, just like seeing the picture of just like, you know, this really beautiful girl just sits in front of you, and it's like just it just there's a feeling that you have that you know you can't even really capture in words. And then later on in the book, you guys know that what ends up happening is she ends up marrying a crackhead at the preschool that connected to my school. And just the irony and the tragedy of that, you know, really, really connected with me when I wrote the book. And, you know, it was very, very upsetting because it happened right in the middle of my injury, too. So you have this injury that makes it so that you can't walk around, and then at the same time, you have this this character who you always thought, like, maybe I'll get with her someday. You have the horrible, evil, disgusting realization that no, she made the wrong life decisions, and she screwed things up, and it ended up culminating in that. And so that was sort of that is the big plot line of the book to me, is her, is Lunch Girl. You know, the first half I talked all about, I had these celebrity crushes. You know, I had a crush on Allison Mack, which it's sad because I tried to I sent her a letter. I sent her a letter in prison, and I was hoping I'd get to talk to her, and I was going to include it at the end of the book as sort of like another ironic sort of full circle thing, but she didn't respond, which I don't know, maybe the letter got intercepted or something. All I said was I had a crush on you and a kid I'd like to talk with you. So I thought that was really unfortunate. And then and what was I talking about? And then like in the second half, you know, you have this character, Lunch Girl, and, you know, she seems like a very good character, and it's just so unsatisfying, the fact that, you know, you really expected something to happen with her, you expected something to come of that whole amazingly happy experience, and what ends up happening anyway, what ends up happening instead is that she marries a crackhead at the preschool, that the evil preschool that you went to as a kid is just like the most evil universe thing ever, like in history, ever. And it just goes to show you how evil the universe can be. And so that really was the main plot of the book for me, was the filmmaking. But if you look deeper into that, really the main plot is Lunch Girl. And I won't say her real name because one of the things that she did was, when we talked, she always asked me to mention her name. I feel like I don't want to mention her name anymore at all, and I'll just call her Lunch Girl. But I will say that something I didn't talk about in the script, in the book, I mean, is that in every script I write, I always have a character who's named after her. So in every single script that I make, every story, every book, except for this one, because in this one it was a memoir, mostly. They're just nicknames that are funny and catchy. In every single script that I write, I always name a character after her. And so I'll just tell you that, but you probably won't be able to figure it out. But I will say that, in every single script, I always, because I don't know, I love her name. I think it's a really nice name. And so, yeah, this book was very fun for me to write. I really hope that people read it and like it and give it a chance and don't just take it at face value. Like, don't just react to all the superficial things on the surface, like, oh, there's that one part where he talks about how, like, he talks about, like, that girl's ass is really big, and, like, like, really, like, look back and delve deeper. And I think that I did that with Super Dumbasses, too. I want to encourage people to delve deeper. And that's something that I even saw in the Full Moon memoir, too, is that he talked about how in Head of the Family, the movie, he based that movie somewhat on his experiences in these awful foreign hospitals. And you never would have known that unless he told you. But I think that, there's something to that, he made this funny little horror movie that, it's just a very shitty little horror movie. It's very comedic. But if you look under the surface, you can see, like, oh shit, foreign hospital, like this nightmarish hospital experience. And you can see, like, his perspective of that, seeing, like, all these people eating potatoes, and it's actually a pretty interesting thing. It's like an ink blot test where you have this picture. It's a very complex picture, and you have to look deeper into that to really get the full perspective, to get the full thing. And I really think people should do that, because nowadays all people do is watch Marvel movies, and there is no beyond the surface of Marvel movies. So they don't look beyond the surface anymore. They just look at the surface. They just skim the surface. They react to the little things on the surface, and then they're just done with it. They're like, okay, what's the next thing? So anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. I really didn't expect it to be this long, but I got into the feelings, and I got into the heart of things, and really just getting out everything I wanted to get out about making this book of mine. And I really think that it is a good story, and I it's a nice thing, because it's almost like a scrapbook for me of, like, just past memories that I could go back and look any time and sort of remember, like, oh yeah. So I really hope you guys take the chance. It's just 11.5 hours. Just parcel out 11.5 hours throughout the year and try to read the whole thing. When the book comes out on physical, hopefully on May 2nd, read that too. And just have fun with it, have fun with it. It's just a small little thing from some small creator on YouTube. It's not any big deal. It's not like, oh, this is the tell-all of, that big name celebrity. This is just like a small scale, intimate story that you can just enjoy and experience, like in the living room with a nice dinner and a cup of, whatever your favorite drink is. It's just a small little intimate thing. And I think that's what I want all of my work to be. I don't want any of my work to feel like it's something that was made for everyone, so that they could grab a bucket of popcorn and shove it in their mouth until they get the kernel stuck in their gums. You know, I make these things because I want people to feel what I felt, and I want to make people feel the feelings that the characters feel in the story. I mean, so anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought about the book. What were your favorite parts? What were your least favorite parts? And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.